Hello everybody, this is TipTop MTG here today with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, I am going to be going over all of the spoilers for Double Masters that have come out today, that being July 24th. So, why don't we just jump right into this? Starting off, we have land tax, so the original spoiler was in another language. So on the left, here's the version from Battle Bond, so we can see what it does. Land tax is a 1-cost white enchantment, and it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. So this is a pretty, I would consider it to be not a staple, but a really good card for white who generally can't get very much card advantage or guaranteed lands. So this is a pretty good card. It was last reprinted in Battle Bond, and currently it's going for about $43. So this is definitely a card you're going to want to pick up. I mean, most of the mythics are. We have seen, I think, one $3 mythic, but everything else, all the mythics seem to be worth a lot of money. Next, we have Grand Architect. It's a 3-cost blue creature, Vidalcan Artificer 1/3, and it says other blue creatures you can control get +1/+1. You can pay a blue and target artifact creature becomes blue until end of turn, which will then buff it. And then you can tap an untapped blue creature you control to add colorless. Spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. So, in a way, you can kind of, by paying 1 blue mana to turn something into a blue artifact creature, you can tap it. Like, either way, this is just a very good card. Unfortunately, it was last reprinted in Mystery Boosters as only a foil, and then a couple times before that. It's only about $1.49, which I expect to fall even more, which is kind of disappointing. At this point, there are probably more, rares that are less than half the value of the pack than not, which, I mean, that's probably typical, but it's just very disappointing to see from a, value perspective. From a, I want this card to be cheaper perspective, it's great. Next, we have Well of Ideas. It's a 6-cost blue enchantment, and it says when it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of each other player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. At the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 additional cards. So just lots of drawing cards. It was last reprinted in Commander 2014, and it's going for about $2. Now, one thing I forgot to mention before was that all of these prices are in USD, and they are as of today, and they are from Card Kingdom, meaning you can probably get them for cheaper if you wanted to buy them, and they probably will not sell for as much because you're not Card Kingdom, most likely. But yeah, just keep that in mind. So in terms of this card, again, it's only a $2 rare. I expect that to fall. It's, again, another disappointing rare, although we did start this video off with a $42 card, so, it's not awful so far. Yesterday felt like a very meh day, but let's continue. Next, we have Braids Conjurer Adept. It's a 4-cost blue legendary creature human wizard 2/2, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield, and this was last reprinted in Planar Chaos, and it's about $3. Again, I expect it to fall a little. It's not a crazy card. It affects everyone. It's nice to see it drop down a little bit in price, but again, from a value perspective, it's just not great. Next, we have Force of Will. So this is a 5-cost blue instant, and it says counter target spell, but you can pay 1 life and exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay its mana cost. So that's pretty good. It was last reprinted as an invocation on Amonkhet, and before that it was in Eternal Masters, but it is being reprinted at Mythic, and this is $100. So if you open this from a pack, a non-foil version of it will go for about $100. I'm assuming a foil version will be about $150, $200, somewhere in there, and once all the spoilers are done, I will talk about the most expensive cards in the set in a video. But that's not it. There's also a box topper version of it going for about $200, and this is obviously not even the foil version, so this is going to be worth a lot. It has new art, new flavor text. I like the borderlessness, so I overall really like this. Next, we have Dread Return. It's a 4-cost black sorcery, and it says return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then it has flashback, sacrifice 3 creatures. So if you flash it back, you will not get as good of a, rate. But also, one of the creatures that you sacrifice can be the thing that you return, which kind of turns it into a black flicker, but only from the graveyard, so that's kind of interesting. It's about a $2 uncommon, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about the uncommons. Next, we have Disciple of the Vault, another uncommon. It's a 25-cent uncommon from Mirrodin. It is part of the artifact theme in black, so it's a 1-drop, 1/1, and whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. So one thing I've noticed that throughout this set is very prevalent is artifacts, and that's because it was Artifact Masters originally, but I would like to go back and kind of look at the set and see, are there like certain sub-themes of artifacts, or is it just every card in the set just is kind of like generic artifacts? Because if that's the case, then Limited is going to be kind of awful. That the fact that just everyone is drafting artifacts, that's not great. And that's probably what's going to end up happening. Now, obviously, one person might be doing blue-red artifacts while someone else is doing black and white artifacts, but like generally, artifacts are going to be a pretty big deal in draft, so that's kind of unfortunate. Either way, moving on, we have Salvage Titan. It's a 6-cost black artifact creature golem, 6/4, and you may sacrifice 3 artifacts rather than pay this spell's mana cost. So theoretically, you could cast this on turn 1 if you, for instance, let's say you're in Commander, you cast Soul Ring, Mox Amber, and Mana Crypt. You can then sacrifice all 3 of those. I don't know if you'd actually want to be able to do this, and then you can obviously do this. And then it says exile 3 artifact cards from your graveyard, and you can return it from your graveyard to your hand. So the cool part here is you play it, maybe you sacrifice 3 artifacts. Also, those can be tokens or like treasures. But if they weren't tokens, you can then exile them from your graveyard to return this. Pretty cool. But it's only a 35-cent card. And again, this is probably, I think this is one of the lowest costed rares we've seen. And if you really want to open up a 15 or even yet $100 booster and get a 35-cent rare, and it's 35 cents pre-order, meaning that that's probably going to drop. That's not great. Either way, moving on, we have Heartbreak of Spring. It's a 3-cost green enchantment, and whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. So this is a symmetrical effect, so everyone gets it. It was last reprinted in Champions of Kamigawa. It's about a $6 card, so expect it to drop down to $5. Honestly, $6 card right now, it's looking like one of the better cards in the set in terms of rares. Now, it feels like we don't have any average rares, or we only have a few. They're either like, ooh, $20 rares, or $2 rares, and I kind of wish we had a little bit more in the middle, which this is approaching the middle, but still not great. Either way, moving on, we have Manamorphis. It's an instant, and it says add 2 mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool, draw a card, and so this is a uncommon that is going for $9, and I don't know why. I expect this to absolutely plummet into the ground, but keep that in mind. It is an uncommon going for $9. Again, expect it to plummet into the ground. Next, we have Brutaclad, and this was originally a mythic, as you can tell on the left, but it's a 6-cost red and blue legendary artifact creature artificer, and it says creature tokens you control have haste, and it says at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token, then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. So essentially what this is going to do is at your combat, you're always making a 2/1, which is powerful, but then all of your token artifacts, or is it just tokens? All of your tokens become a copy of target token artifact you control, or just target token. Sorry, it doesn't even have to be an artifact. Sorry. So just target token turns all other tokens into a copy of itself until end of turn. So that's pretty cool. Actually, it does not say until end of turn, so they just permanently become copies of that. Pretty good card, but unfortunately it's only $2.50. I believe this will be the first time it's seeing a print in non-foil, so that's pretty awesome. It was last printed in Commander 2018, so yeah, pretty cool. Nice to see it drop down to rare. This would have been a disappointing mythic, but it's also nice to see it reprinted. But again, also $2.50, it's also pathetic for a rare. Moving on, we have Giora, Weatherlight Captain. It's a 4-cost blue and red legendary creature, human artificer, and it says whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. 3/3. Again, look, they're just artifacts. Again, everything is artifacts, but it's a $4 rare. I mean, again, it's kind of low. Last reprinted in Dominaria. I kind of wish it was worth a little bit more. It's like some of these cards are clearly in here for the limited environment, but then also the limited environment doesn't seem that great. Now, I'm obviously, when I do my review for Double Masters, I'll talk more about it after I've experienced it a little bit, but overall, it's just not looking great. Next, we have a Throne of Geth. It's a 2-cost artifact, and it says tap, sacrifice an artifact, proliferate. So, pretty good card, but again, I'm not here to judge cards. It's an uncommon worth 50 cents. Again, don't have much to say about uncommon. Next, we have Treasure Keeper. It's a 4-cost artifact creature construct, 3/3, last reprinted in Masters 25. But it says, when it dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card with CMC 3 or less. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, put all revealed cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library. It's a pretty cool card, but again, it's an uncommon. I don't really have too much to say about them. You're not really looking to the uncommons to be the valuable part of the pack. Next, we have Pentad Prism. It's a 2-cost artifact with Sunburst, which means it enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. And then you can remove a charge counter from it to add 1 mana. I'm not a huge fan of this. I'd rather just, have a 2-cost artifact that... I guess you can do it all in one turn, which is nice, but I prefer Arcane Signet. Either way, this is a 25-cent card. Again, an uncommon. I don't really have too much to say about it. Next, we have Cranial Plating. It's a 2-cost artifact equipment, and it says equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. Really amazing in an artifact theme set. It has black, and it says attach it to target creature you control, which is cool because you can do that at instant speed, or at non-instant speed, sorcery speed, you can pay 1 to equip it. And that was last reprinted in Commander 2016, and it's a 35-cent uncommon. But yeah, again, pretty good. Next, we have Basilisk Collar. It's a 1-cost artifact equipment, and it says equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink. Equip 2. This has so many uses. Death Touch and Lifelink. Both of those are very powerful abilities. You can put Death Touch on a small thing, put Lifelink on a big thing, put them on a pinger, and now you're gaining life and killing things. It's very good, but $6. Again, I wish it was a little more, but this is probably one of the better rares, and it's last reprinted Mystery Booster. And when I say, by the way, better rares, I just mean out of what we've seen today. Obviously, I know you'd rather pull a Cyclonic Rift or that Hammer, but out of today, it's one of the better rares. Next, we have Walking Ballista. Speaking of better rares, it's XX for an artifact creature construct, and it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. You can pay 4 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then you can remove a +1/+1 counter from it, and it deals 1 damage to any target. So it can, if you want to, first off, this thing can come down as a huge creature. Second, if, you try and kill it with a kill spell, assume most of your creatures are going to die because it's just going to unload all of its counters, or it's going to hit you right in the face. This just has so many applications. If you can start proliferating this gets crazy. So pretty good. It's $20, so one of the better rares, and it was last reprinted in 8th Revolt. Good to see this reprinted. Next, we have Spellskite. It's a 2-cost artifact creature horror, and it has Phyrexian blue. Change the target of target spell or ability to Spellskite. That's pretty awesome. If they want to, it's kind of like a shield for one of your creatures. If they want to kill it, you can pay 2 life and change it to this, which often means that they just target this right away. Even though it might be better to target the thing you actually want to kill and then make them pay 2 life. But whatever. It's a $6 card. Last reprinted in Modern Masters. Pretty good card. Again, $6 is better than yesterday where the whole thing was $3 or under. So that's pretty nice to see. But again, I wish it was a little bit higher. Next, we have Rexian Revoker. It's a 2-cost artifact creature horror, 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, choose a non-land card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated. So this is kind of like a Sorcerer's Spyglass-esque effect, but it's only 99 cents. So again, we're getting another just bulk rare in the obviously rare slot. So that's disappointing. It was last reprinted in Magic 2015. I really don't think it needed a reprint, so this is kind of disappointing. Next, we have Adaptive Automaton. It's a 3-cost artifact creature construct. 2/2, and as it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It is the chosen creature type in addition to its other types, and other creatures you control of the type get +1/+1. So it's $6. Again, right at that $6 mark. Seems like a lot of cards today are around $6, which, depending on what foils you get, that might be around the number you want to shoot for each rare, or not shoot for, but that's the minimum. But yeah, it was last reprinted in Magic 2012. It's been a while. Obviously, a card like this I feel like should probably be lower in price. They should have printed this at uncommon, just sunk the price down to basically nothing. But overall, not a bad card, but not great. Next, we have Endless Atlas. It's a 2-cost artifact, and you can pay 2 and tap to draw a card. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. Now, this is $7.50, which is probably what every rare should be aiming at. I know that's going to drop a little, but that can be expected. If you are at $7.50 or above, I know it's not 50 cents, but whatever, it's 49, but if you are at that mark or above, I would consider it to be a decent rare. It's not awful. Good to see this included. This is going to be nice to see it drop a little in price. Next, we have Aethersworn Canonist. It's a 2-cost white artifact creature human cleric, and it says each player who has cast a non-artifact spell this turn can't cast an additional non-artifact spells. So in limited, this is going to do like nothing because everyone is casting artifacts. Obviously, that's not true. There are lots of non-artifacts, but this basically says, hey, you can only cast 1 non-artifact spell each turn, which is kind of devastating. It's a $9 card, so it's nice to see that at rare, and it was last reprinted in Modern Masters, so pretty good card. And nice value. Just this is the kind of card they should be aiming for. Next, we have Chrome Mox. It's a 0-drop artifact with imprint, and as it enters the battlefield, you may exile a non-artifact non-land card from your hand, and then you can tap and add 1 mana of any of the exiled cards' colors to your mana pool, and that's at $70. So this is definitely one of the cards you want to pull. You might want to pull Force of Will a little more, but it was last reprinted as a Kaladesh Invention, and before that it was in Eternal Masters, but this is not the only version we're seeing. We are also seeing Chrome Mox, this version, for $120, and actually I really love the art on this one. Pretty awesome. Moving on, we have Darkdeal Citadel. It's a 35-cent uncommon, but it's an artifact land with Indestructible that taps for colorless. I know a couple people were looking for artifact lands to be in here. I don't think this is the one they were talking about, but not an awful inclusion. You know, if you're in a draft, this is a nice thing to pick up just to boost your artifact counts. Honestly, I'm also surprised in the set we haven't seen more artifact destruction based on, you know, the whole set being based around artifacts. You feel like when they do a standard set, if they have a Planeswalker heavy set for limited, they will print a bunch of Planeswalker removal. But here they're not really doing that, so I would love to see like a Vandal Blast just reprinted. I know that might be a little bit extreme, the fact that you could just like one-sided board wipe, but maybe just a destroy all artifact spell. That would be kind of nice. But pretty good inclusion. It's obviously uncommon, so I don't really care about how much, not that I don't care about how much value it has, but if it has a low value, I'm not going to complain. If it has a high value, that's awesome. Next, we have nothing else for today. So here are all of the showcase frames in order based on their number. So you'll notice here we have Karn Liberated, and then Jace, and then a missing one. So that could either be another Planeswalker, because they do Planeswalkers first, or it could be a white spell where the naming of it is between like starting with A and going to Consul's Judgment. So this could be a number of things. It could be, you know, a Planeswalker that, you know, comes after J. It could be, I don't know, Liliana. It could be a white spell. I think it's more likely to be a white spell, maybe a white Planeswalker, but like looking at the number of, I mean, I guess maybe not, because it looks like blue is going to have 2 to 3 spells, so maybe they're going to stick to 2 to 3 mono-colored cards. Either way, there's just some predictions you can make. For instance, there's going to be either a blue or black spell in between Force of Will and Dark Confidant. That could be a number of things. Moving on to the next page, we have a bunch of these, and one of them has almost already been confirmed to be Thoughtseize, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, we have a bunch of empty spaces here still. Next, we have a couple new inclusions in here with Chrome Mox. Actually, only 1 new inclusion in here, which means that we're only missing 2 on this page, somewhere between Meddling Mage and Blightsteel Colossus, and somewhere between Expedition Map and Mana Crypt. So, overall, we have this last page where pretty much they're confirmed to be the 3 other swords, which is why there's blue around them. Those have not been confirmed, but they have been pretty much confirmed, at least Sword of Light and Shadow, because it has to be Sword of something that comes after fire. So pretty much Sword of Light and Shadow. Overall, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found it useful. Maybe a look at those showcase cards gives you some thoughts on what could be reprinted. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.